Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti, which in English means a pearl or gem from one book. Today I'm going to read a portion from one of my favorite books, Think Big, written by Dr. Ben Carson along with Cecil Murphy. Its subtitle is Unleashing Your Potential for Excellence. The first part contains an autobiography of Dr. Ben Carson. So here he explains the difficulties that he had to face as a child. I think he was ridiculed by his classmates and considered one of the dumbest kids in his class. But later on, because of his mother's creative plans, where she made her kids read 2 books a week, Ben was able to become a good student and later on became one of the world's leading pediatric neurosurgeons. So read this book to get an understanding of how inspirational his life is. And the second part is an unpacking of the acrostic Think Big. So in this video, I'm going to talk about this acrostic Think Big. So I'm going to first read this portion and then I'm going to briefly discuss each of the items in this acrostic. So T stands for talent. If we recognize our talents, use them appropriately, and choose a field that uses those talents, we will rise to the top of our field. H equals honesty. If we live by the rule of honesty and accept our problems, we can go far down the road of achievement. I equals insight. If we observe and reflect and commit ourselves to giving our best, we will come out on top. N equals nice. If we are nice to others, others respond to us in the same way, and we can give our best for each other. K equals knowledge. If we make every attempt to increase our knowledge in order to use for human good, it will make a difference in us and in our world. B equals books. If we commit ourselves to reading, thus increasing our knowledge, only God limits how far we can go in this world. I equals in-depth knowledge. If we develop in-depth knowledge, it will enable us to give our best to others and help to make a better world. G equals God. If we acknowledge our need for God, He will help us. So let me just discuss each of these items in this acrostic in detail. T stands for talent. So God has given each of us some talent. In fact, I think it's a rare case where we have a single talent. Most of us have multiple talents. I think that's how the world has been designed. Rarely is there someone who has just one talent. We have multiple talents. So I think the first thing we need to do is we need to recognize the talents that we possess, and then we use them in the right manner. We do not misuse our talents. And then choose a field where we can employ those talents. So we get paid for using that talent in that field, and then we can rise to the top of our respective fields. So one thing that we need to remember is most of the talents that God gives us have this double aspect where we use our talent to benefit society and society pays us for that. For example, if I'm an employee, I use my talent to contribute to that company where I'm employed, and the company pays me for that using of my talent or ability. So I contribute to the company, and the company contributes to my well-being by paying me. So most of the talents have this double aspect. So we should always remember that the talents that we possess should be used for the benefit of society. For example, some people have entrepreneurial skills. They can use this talent to sell good products to society or to provide good services to society, but they should not misuse this talent where they start producing harmful products that are not good for society, or they provide services that that are not up to the mark. They should not provide bad quality service. So the entrepreneurial skills should be used for the benefit of society. That's how entrepreneurs grow. For example, Bill Gates has provided us Microsoft Office, a suite of products. So most of us are benefited by that. So I think that's why Bill Gates is one of the richest men in the world. He has benefited so many human beings, and so he gets benefited in return. That's how God has designed this system. That's how the world functions, where we make use of our talents so that we benefit society, and in return we get paid for that usage, because we need money to survive in this world. The next item in this acrostic is honesty. So we need to be honest with others, and we should also be honest with ourselves. For example, we should tell the truth, speak the truth, and if we promise someone that we'll do something, we should do that. That is, our word should be our bond. And the other thing is, we should be honest with ourselves. That is, if we have some kind of weakness that is hindering our progress or blocking our march towards success, then we should acknowledge that weakness and try to fill that gap. For example, if at the workplace someone tells us that we have a particular weakness, we shouldn't take it personally. We should just acknowledge it. If we feel that that's a weakness, we should not allow our ego to, enter that discussion. So if there is a weakness in us, that's fine. We'll just work towards it, and we'll try to eliminate that weakness. So being honest is extremely important in order to succeed in life. The third letter in this acrostic is insight. The letter is I. It stands for insight. So insight is the ability to gain some lessons from what we observe. For example, I think the Bible refers to the Bible exhorts us to observe the way ants work, so that it has no manager, no overseer, no superintendent, but it does its work. So there is a lesson from natural phenomenon. That is, we observe ants, and then we try to gain some lessons from that. So I think insight is the result of observation and then reflection and questioning. For example, when we see some people succeed in their fields, we should first observe, what makes them successful, then ask questions, reflect. In fact, we can ask those people as well, what makes them successful. Many people will be happy to tell you about what makes them successful. And we can also read biographies and autobiographies to get an insight into the lives of successful people. We can, other than observing natural phenomenon and reading biographies and autobiographies, we can also observe our own life and see what's working, what has worked in the past and what has not worked in the past, and try to eliminate those things from our lives that don't work, and try to reinforce the things that work. So that's about insight. N in this acrostic stands for being nice. So if we are nice to others, others will be nice to us. That's just a fundamental law of this universe, where people usually are good to people who are good to them. So just practice this at the workplace, practice this in your homes, practice this in your society. K equals knowledge. So knowledge, I think I talked about this in one of my previous videos as well. So we have something called theoretical knowledge, which we get from books, attending seminars, and interviewing people. We get them from CDs, we get them from online sources. So there are different ways of acquiring knowledge, but there is also something called practical know-how or on-the-job learning or on the job training. So we can acquire knowledge through these sources where we acquire knowledge from books and CDs and interviews and courses, and then we also acquire practical knowledge through doing certain things, and then learning from that attempt. Then B stands for books. Books are the primary sources of knowledge and also recreation. I think in the past, people used to read poems and stories and novels. And nowadays, we have different modes of entertainment as well, but I think these are healthy forms of entertainment where we can spend some time reading good poems. For example, in English, you have the sonnets of Shakespeare or his plays that talk about human conflict and the difficulties that most of us usually face. And then we can learn from some of these characters. For example, one of my favorite characters is Brutus. So I've learned a lot from that character. And the story of Macbeth is also interesting. So I think some of these classics are great sources of insight. But I think what Ben Carson is referring to in this acrostic is that we need to read books related to our profession as well. So if we want to really advance in our field, we should read books about our profession as well. For example, I'm a technical writer. So I read books on grammar, on book usage, English usage, principles of writing, document design, and so on. So these books help me in becoming a better technical writer. So you too can, buy books related to your profession or your business or your job, and then learn from these books, and then put those ideas into practice. The ideas that you acquire from books. This is the second I in this acrostic. It stands for in-depth knowledge. So in-depth knowledge comes from questioning. It comes from reading and reading again and reading from multiple sources actually. I think in this book, Ben Carson gives his example of reading medical books, of different authors. But knowledge, as I said earlier in this acrostic K, is not acquired through books alone. So we can interview people who have been working in the field that we are employed in, or by attending seminars through magazines and journals. So there should be an acquiring of knowledge from different sources, and that acquiring of knowledge should be in depth. We should find as much as we could find about our job or profession of business. And the fact is that the world is changing very fast. So I don't think anyone can say that, he or she has acquired all the knowledge that one needs to acquire related to one's field. New books are being published, and new seminars come up. Training courses are available. We have new advances in our field, so we need to be aware of those happenings in our field. The final acrostic is G, which stands for God. So we need to have faith in a benevolent power that is running this universe, so that in times of trouble and difficulty, and especially when we are tired, and we need energy, we can seek help from that benevolent power that is running this universe, and we will be able to surmount our difficulties, and we'll be able to overcome problems and challenges. So that's it for this video, friends. I hope you liked this video, and I recommend this book. You can buy this from Amazon or Flipkart. I think this book is also available from an Indian publication house, Mastermind Books. I think it's also it has been published by Zondervan, so you can check this on Amazon or Flipkart, and you can get a copy of this book. So thanks for watching this video.